everyone. So it is, gosh, Thursday evening. Um, I'm a little bit brain dead at this point, but I wanted to do a quick video. I just made a video for my other channel about this week as far as the pregnancy goes. Sorry. I'll put a link to that down below if you want to go watch that. I'm not going to go over everything I went over in that video, but there'll probably be some overlap. Yeah, so I am now just over 7 weeks pregnant. It's still very exciting, and I am still trying to get my prenatal care sorted out. It's been a little bit frustrating. I have spent the last week and a half trying to get the maternal fetal specialist on the phone to find out what his recommendation is and what, or if there's anything else we need to do. And I also, today, Eric and I went and toured a second birth center, wow, sorry, that we ended up actually really liking the midwives at this birth center better than the other birth center, but the facility wasn't as nice, but I think, if we're given the go-ahead to use a birth center, then we'll probably end up going with the one we went to today. Unfortunately, it's a little bit further away for us, but, it's not a bad drive. It's like all on the highway. So, I said in my other video that, Eric was joking in the car today that I just better not go into labor, during rush hour. Because, the drive would be less fun. Because we end up going through some cities and stuff on the way there. And I told him he needs to, I can't really control that he needs to talk to Poppy, which is what we're calling the baby. I'm not sure if I had mentioned that before. We're calling it Poppy because when we found out that I was pregnant, it was the size of a poppy seed. And it's nice just having a name for it now. So, and I also, sorry, I'm all over the place. I've also spent the last couple of weeks trying to get my regular doctor's office to get back to me about getting copies of records that I had sent from the hospital to them. It's just this big confusing thing. So I finally today heard back from them and was able to go and pick up the records that I wanted them to copy for me, which was great. I ended up not needing them. I thought I was going to need them for the birth center tour and meeting and stuff, because the midwife had said that she would want to see my hospital records as well as the records from the consultation with the maternal fetal specialist, but she ended up not wanting them today. So, but I have them anyway. But it ended up being an extra couple of hours in the car going to get them, so that wasn't fantastic. And then we went and had the tour of the birth center, which, like I said, we really liked the midwives there. And basically, it's funny. Apparently all the birth centers use the same doctor to have, possible high-risk patients go and be evaluated, because they would send me to the same specialist that I went to, which is good. I'm glad that everyone likes him so much, but, it just means that, okay, so whatever he says has a lot of weight, because it's not just, one birth center that wouldn't accept me. It's, the same for all of them, probably. So they would want me to go see him anyway, so it's good that I've already seen him. And so basically we were just waiting to hear back from him. Dr. K. I'll call him Dr. K. So we got in the car and we're driving home, and Eric was like, well, why don't you call his office now? So I called, and they had the notes in my chart, and he had apparently tried to call me, but didn't leave a message, so I didn't know that he had. And so the receptionist put another note in my chart for him to call me and everything. So I finally heard back from him this evening, and he apologized for taking such a long time and everything. So it was nice to finally hear back from him. And basically what he said is he looked through all my hospital records and everything, and no one ever did a clotting factor, which he said was not, was not unusual that they wouldn't do a clotting factor, but he wants to have that done. So basically, and I have actually had my clotting factor tested before I had a PICC line, or before I was supposed to have a PICC line placed last summer, and it was normal. So anyway, so basically, if the clotting factor shows that something, that I clot too much, then it would be pretty clear that I would need to be on blood thinners for the duration of the pregnancy. However, if the clotting factor is normal, which, like, I have no idea if pregnancy would throw it off and make it be different than how it was a year ago, but if it's normal, then it would be basically, up to me. He said it would be a gray area, like I could still go on blood thinners, and it wouldn't be a bad idea just to have that prophylactic treatment to just make sure that there's, low risk for blood clots. But he said, it's unlikely that the birth centers would accept me on blood thinners. So I don't know if it's that he would recommend that I be in a hospital or not, because I think that would be more of a determining factor, potentially. So anyway, so I have to have the clotting factor tested. He's gonna set it up and have his office call me tomorrow to figure out what lab I need to go to and stuff. So yeah, so I'll have that done, and hopefully, fingers crossed, hopefully it's normal, because if it's normal, then it'll be, it'll basically be up to me whether I want to be on blood thinners, and, I wouldn't necessarily be totally opposed to it. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but, I can deal with, I think it would only be 1 shot a day. I can deal with that if one of the birth centers would be willing to accept me as a patient. If they weren't willing to accept me while on blood thinners, then I would probably not take them. Basically, if it was left up to me. If it was left up to me, I might choose not to, just flat out. But if it's gonna, if it's gonna affect where I'm able to get my care and give birth, then then that's going to be part of the decision. But anyway, so I need to have the testing done and find out what that is and everything. Yeah. I'm taking the lovely yellow paint that is Mepron and struggling with that. So last week the morning sickness hit, and that has not been fun to deal with. It's basically been like 24 hours a day, I'm nauseous and queasy. I haven't been throwing up, knock on wood, but, like, it's just not fun. And so, like, getting myself to take the Mepron it's really hard. And I have to, like, for almost every dose lately, I have to tell myself it's not, like, it's for Poppy. Like, this is, I'm doing this for the baby, and, I just need to do it. But it's not easy. So yeah, so I'm on the Mepron. There's nothing that's really changed. I don't know if I said this at the beginning of the video. I'm just over 7 weeks pregnant now. And I'm not going to go through all the stuff I did in my other video. You can go watch the other video if you're interested in all the details. Now, in different, like, non-health related news, on this past Sunday, it's Thursday today, Thursday, on Sunday, I'll be so glad when I get to the second trimester and this morning sickness and everything goes away. Anyway, on Sunday, Eric and I walked 13.1 miles in the Jimmy Fund walk. And this was to we were on the team for a friend of mine from church, who, I don't know if I've talked about her before. I did the walk a few years ago. I did 13 miles like 3 years ago, and then I did 3 miles 2 years ago, I think, and I didn't do it at all last year. So I may have talked about it before. So basically, we're on the team for this girl from my church who is 14 and basically has had a brain tumor, a slow progressing brain tumor since she was diagnosed when she was 5 months old. She's had brain surgeries and she's been on and off chemo. And when she was like, I don't even know how old, 5 maybe, she had just had her second brain surgery. And I was at her mom and I were in choir together at church, and it was like right after I had my gallbladder surgery and had my gallbladder removed, and she found out that I had surgery, and she thought that that was so cool that like we both had surgery, and so we've, you know, bonded and connected, and I was her mentor in a youth group program, and it's just been great. Like, I'm good friends with her mom, and you know, we're kind of bonded over that shared experience. You know, she had ports before I had ports, and so it's just great. So we walked on her team, and all the money raised by that team is going directly to research for her type of brain tumor, which is great. But let me tell you, 13 miles is a long way to walk. It was really hard. It took us about 5 hours, and we were, I think, probably the last ones on the team to finish, but we know we managed. We finished, and our feet are mostly recovered now, and the rest of our bodies are mostly recovered. So that's good. We could hardly walk when we got home, and yeah, and the next morning was not very pretty. So I'm really glad that we did it. I'm really glad that we managed to finish. But I think it's unlikely that I will do the 13-mile walk, at least for the next couple of years. I'll do one of those shorter walks. There's a 5-mile walk and there's a 3-mile walk. So, you know, next fall with a baby, it seems possible that we could do the 3-mile walk, but we'll have to wait and see. So yeah, if anyone is interested in donating to my fundraising for the walk, let me know. Send me a private message or something, and I'll get that information to you about how you can do that. So yeah, so that's pretty much it. I am totally exhausted, have a headache, and I managed to eat dinner. Eric is out this evening. I managed to eat dinner. I managed to go to the store and then eat dinner, which was a bit of a feat. And yeah, so I think now I'm just gonna curl up in bed with some Netflix, or perhaps a book. Probably not. I'm finding that reading is really difficult lately, with the nausea and having headaches and stuff like that. It's just not easy. But I did get a couple new pregnancy books, including What to Expect When You're Expecting. So I might flip through that a little bit if I feel up to it. But anyway, it's not even 7 o'clock yet, and I'm ready for bed. Like, I'm in my pajamas, I've brushed my teeth, I'm ready for bed. So yeah, but this is now an extremely long video. Sorry about that. But yeah, so I'll leave it there, and hope you're all having a good week. It's been relatively quiet from everyone, so I hope you're doing okay, and you know, I'd really love to hear from all of you, especially those of you who have been quiet for a while. So yeah, so I hope you're doing well, and I will talk to you soon.